What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I'm Sid the Nerdy Mark, and this is my review for Raw and SmackDown for this week. So, a quick announcement. Next weekend, which is Summerslam weekend, I will be going live on Instagram right before NXT TakeOver Brooklyn to give you my live predictions for TakeOver. And during the SummerSlam pre-show, I will be going live on YouTube, and also at the same time, my good friends over at Armbar Audio, they will be going live throughout the entirety of SummerSlam. So check me out, check them out, do what you got to do, and yeah, hopefully we'll have a lot of fun during the the biggest event of the summer. But it was the biggest party of the summer. Now it's the biggest event of the summer. WWE can't make up their minds. But with that being said, let's dive right into our review of WWE television, starting with Monday Night Raw. So, Raw does begin with General Manager Kurt Angle and Constable Baron Corbin in the ring. Kurt Angle is talking about the actions of Brock Lesnar last week. Despite what he did, Paul Heyman still has his job, and that Brock will face repercussions for hitting the F5 on Angle. Before he can say another word, Roman Reigns comes out, because of course he does, and he reprimands Baron Corbin for being a coward and escaping while he could. Kurt Angle say that he hopes Roman kicks Brock's ass at SummerSlam, to the chagrin of Baron Corbin, and Baron says you can't pick sides, you just book the matches. So Kurt Angle books the match, Baron Corbin versus Roman Reigns, and this is actually a match that I've actually really wanted to see for a very long time, so glad they did it here. But it was a pretty okay match. It wasn't anything great. Baron Corbin does a lot of rest holds in this, so that was something. In the end, we do have Roman setting up for the spear. Baron Corbin rolls out of the ring, and he's about to walk towards the entrance ramp when Finn Balor interrupts, because Baron did make some comments about Finn during their promo, and he's kind of trapped between Roman and Finn. Roman comes out of the ring, hits a Superman punch, rolls Baron Corbin back into the ring, hits the spear, 1, 2, 3, Roman Reigns wins, and then he gives a fist bump to Finn Balor. I thought he would do a too sweet, but I guess not. Finn Balor gets inside, hits the coup de grace, and that's how the segment ends. And it is, of course, announced that we are getting Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor for the third time, because this is a match that we are all really want to see, isn't it? Up next, we did have Bobby Roode taking on Mojo Rawley, and this was a much better match than I expected, but it was still a squash match for all intents and purposes. It did end pretty shortly when Bobby Roode hit the Glorious DDT onto Mojo Rawley to win this match. I am smelling a rematch on the SummerSlam pre-show. We then had Elias. He is filming another documentary because he wasn't very happy with the one that's on the WWE Network. So he is going out and he's filming another documentary. He name drops Bobby Lashley once again, and Bobby interrupts. He says that the documentary was actually really good, and it really showed what who Elias really is. Elias said, no, it painted me as a narcissist, so I didn't like it. So he's refilming it, and he says that ever since Bobby came back, his whole comeback has been a joke, which is true. And Bobby says that everything about Elias is a joke. Elias pretends like he's leaving with the camera crew. He takes a clipboard, throws it at Bobby. Bobby hits a spine buster onto Elias, and he calls in the camera crew, telling them to film everything. Film this. He hits a delayed suplex onto Elias and leaves. So it looks like we're getting Bobby versus Elias at SummerSlam as well. So, you know, the card is taking shape, but I don't care about this particular match. Next up, we did have Rezar of the Authors of Pain taking on Titus O'Neil. Why are we continuing this feud? Another squash match for all intents and purposes, and at least this time the right guy won, which was Rezar. And I do think we're going to get Titus Worldwide versus AOP once again. After this is over, can we please have the Authors of Pain in the Raw Tag Team title picture? Please and thank you. Up next, it is the return of the Kevin Owens show. And Kevin Owens has a set towards the side of the entrance ring as opposed to inside the ring itself. So, you know, a little bit more high budget, so that's good. His first guest since returning is Jinder Mahal. I mean, the show returning, not Kevin himself. But Jinder Mahal has become Kevin Owens' guru, helping him with the ways of meditation and the whole Shanti and everything like that. So he says, I'm very confident about my match against Braun Strowman now, and you also beat Braun Strowman, so why don't you do it again? So he volunteers Jinder Mahal to face Braun Strowman once again. He calls out Braun Strowman, but Braun doesn't come out, and he says, see, Braun Strowman's scared of you, but we see the set shake. Braun has toppled the whole Kevin Owens show set over, and now we have the match between Jinder Mahal and Braun Strowman, which did end in a disqualification because throughout the match, KO did try to steal the briefcase from Braun, so Braun had to focus on that. He finally nabbed the briefcase from Kevin Owens on the entrance ramp. Jinder Mahal followed. He tried to attack Braun, but Braun attacked Jinder with the briefcase, and that, of course, made Braun lose via disqualification. So, continuing to do the whole, if you get disqualified, you're going to lose your briefcase. I don't know what that was, sorry. So, real quick FYI, the music that you hear in the background is my mom singing. She is practicing for an event later on this year, so that's why you hear the music in the background. But, Mom, if you're watching this, good, all the best on your event. I'll be there myself, but obviously I still want to wish you good luck. So throughout the night, Seth Rollins wanted his hands on Dolph and Drew both, and Kurt Angle said that if you find a partner, I will set up the tag match for you. Earlier on, we did have Tyler Breeze come in and throw his hat in the ring for a chance to be Seth's partner. He says, let's call ourselves CrossFit Breezes, because CrossFit Jesus, so that's funny. But Roman Reigns did interrupt, and he said, hey, I got your back tonight. And it looks like they're gonna face off against Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, but Stephanie McMahon had informed Kurt Angle that Roman is not allowed to compete anymore tonight because she wants to protect the main event of SummerSlam. So Roman Reigns does reluctantly leave, and Seth is like, I can take care of this, I got it. Throughout the lead up to this match, Michael Cole made it a point to say that his partner is not going to be Dean Ambrose, and because he's still out with injury. I wonder why that is. We did have this match between Seth Rollins and then Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre in a handicap match. It was pretty good. Dolph Ziggler hits the zigzag on Rollins and wins. There's nothing much to say here. We now have the B Team, the Raw Tag Team Champions, coming out to new music. It's like a high school drum major theme, which is actually pretty cool. I kind of dig it. I think they're fully embracing their stupid heel gimmick, which is fun. And we do have them taking on the Revival. Pretty decent match between the two. The match does end in a no contest because Axel and Wilder are trying to go towards their tag team partners, and then the Bray and Matt teleport on either side of the ring, come in, beat up the Revival, beat up the B Team. Next week, we do have a triple threat tag team match between the Deleters of Worlds, B Team, and, of course, the Revival, to decide who goes to SummerSlam to challenge for the Raw tag team titles. Wouldn't it have just been more convenient to have the Revival and Matt and Bray go at it in just a regular tag match? I don't know why we need to do a triple threat. We now get what I feel was the biggest highlight of Monday Night Raw, and that is the interview with Paul Heyman. Renee Young is interviewing Paul Heyman. Paul is sitting there, his eyes are all puffy, he has a 5 o'clock shadow. He is broken. I'm not talking about Matt Hardy. He is absolutely devastated after what Brock did to him and how he turned on him and everything. He's not returning his calls. He's not talking to him. So Renee asks him the question if Roman Reigns stands a chance against Brock Lesnar. He says, I've never seen Brock Lesnar this violent or this focused. Against this Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns doesn't stand a chance. Now, that is where the interview ended, but I do want to talk about the extended last minute that they cut out from television that was on the WWE YouTube channel. He had Paul Heyman say that, Roman doesn't stand a chance against Brock, and then he sits and he thinks to himself and he says, unless, and then he takes off the microphone, hands it to Renee, he says, thank you so much, and he leaves. Renee tries to get it out of Heyman, like, what? Unless Roman does what? Unless Roman does what? I am intrigued. I'm actually very, very intrigued as to how they're building this whole feud. I'm interested to see how Paul Heyman is going to factor into this. We now have the Riot Squad taking on Sasha and Bayley once again, and this was a okay match. Nothing to write home about. I mean, these matches are pretty substandard in my opinion. I'm sorry. Sasha and Bayley look like they're gonna win. Liv Morgan is on the outside. Bayley is trying to jump off the apron onto Liv Morgan, but she is saved by a mysterious figure in a black hoodie, and the person takes off the hoodie to reveal Ruby Riott. Ruby Riott is back, and this distraction causes Sarah Logan to pin Sasha for the win. So Ruby Riott is back, the Riot Squad is back together, and Sasha and Bayley are looking like the biggest pushovers on the entire planet. It is now time for our main event, Ronda Rousey's main roster debut. Well, technically her Monday Night Raw debut, and we do have her taking on Alexa Bliss. Oh wait, what? It's not Alexa Bliss, it's Alicia Fox. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that because she didn't come out to her own theme song. Alexa Bliss and Alicia Fox come into the ring. They cut a promo on how Alicia is like the biggest veteran, and because of her, it's why Evolution is happening and all that stuff. This promo went on until like tomorrow. So the next day, we did have Ronda Rousey finally come out and have a match with Alicia Fox. And it's basically a squash. So it was weird because they did all this build up for Alicia Fox, and she's basically beaten in like 2 minutes. Ronda Rousey does put her in the armbar and says, "That's gonna be you," as Alicia's tapping out. And then Ronda gets on the mic. Alexa Bliss is like clutching her title as tight as possible. She says, "Yeah, hold on to that title as tight as you can, but that's gonna mean nothing because at SummerSlam I'm taking it away from you." She throws the mic on the floor, which bounced up, which was looking interesting. I'm pretty sure she broke it, so Ronda, that's probably going to come out of your salary. SmackDown Live does begin with Randy Orton coming into the ring and basically cutting the same promo that he cut 2 weeks ago. If you missed it, just watch the promo from 2 weeks ago or watch this promo. It doesn't really matter because this was basically the Cliff Notes version of that promo. Backstage, we did have Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch talking to each other. Charlotte kind of apologizing. She didn't mean to run in on Becky Lynch's parade. Yes, you did, Charlotte. Don't lie. And they have to work together as a team, though, to defeat the IICONICS. So we have this match. Billie Kay does make it a point to say that Becky Lynch is in the shadow of Charlotte Flair, trying to drive a wedge between them. But it doesn't work because the match does end when Becky Lynch tries to hit the disarm her, but it doesn't work. And Charlotte comes in, tags herself in, and hits the figure 8 onto Billie Kay, and she taps out to that, so the babyfaces win. Carmella was on commentary, by the way, doing her Carmella shtick. Backstage, we did have a bit of a tense moment between Charlotte and Becky Lynch, so it looks like we're heading towards either a Charlotte or a Becky Lynch heel turn after SummerSlam, so we'll see what happens next Sunday. After this, we did have AJ Styles make his way into the ring and rebuke the remarks made by Samoa Joe, saying that they were sharing an apartment together, a cockroach-infested apartment together, and they were brothers, they were comrades and stuff. But Joe threw all that away when he mentioned AJ's family and whatnot. Pretty decent promo from AJ Styles, very impassioned. I really enjoyed it. Still didn't hold a candle to Samoa Joe's promo. That was awesome. It did end when we see Samoa Joe watching AJ Styles in the back, and he's like all laughing. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good promo, and I am waiting to see the go-home angle next week. This should be pretty awesome. Backstage, we did see Lana getting ready for her match with Zelina Vega, a rematch from last week. Rusev comes in and says that he's going to be on Lana's corner. Aiden English comes in and delivers a very sincere apology to both Rusev and Lana. Rusev forgives him, but tells Aiden to stay put. This match goes on, and it's pretty decent. I did enjoy it. Zelina does her thing. She's very vicious in the ring, as is Lana. The match does end when there's a spot with Zelina Vega kicking Rusev on the back of the head. Lana comes in. She attacks Zelina Vega. Aiden English, despite Rusev's direct orders to stay in the back, comes in trying to get Almas off of Rusev and lightly grazes Lana's leg, and she falls to the ground. Zelina Vega hits the knees onto Lana and wins the match once again, with, of course, Aiden English looking very distraught and Rusev and Lana looking very disappointed. So yeah, Rusev Day is getting closer and closer to ending, and I am very sad, and I'm going to go in a corner and cry after this review. So The Miz finally accepts Daniel Bryan's challenge, and they will finally have their match at SummerSlam. Byron Saxton is in the ring, and The Miz is apparently on set of Miz and Mrs., so he's on the Titantron, and as the interview is going on, Daniel Bryan attacks The Miz and the security guards, try to peel him off. He attacks the security guards. Miz hits Daniel Bryan on the head with a flower vase or whatever that is, and he escapes. Backstage, Shinsuke Nakamura is giving one of his trademark interviews with Renee Young when R-Truth interrupts and says he wants to be added in the United States title picture, and he says, I know what I gotta do. I have to pin Carmella. But, of course, he does challenge Nakamura to a match later on, and this is actually not as much of a squash as I expected it to be. This was a pretty decent match. R-Truth got a lot more offense in this time versus how he did with Samoa Joe, and the match did end with Nakamura hitting the Kinshasa on Truth and winning. We now have the Bludgeon Brothers taking on a pair of jobbers known as 3SK, and the Bludgeon Brothers win. It's a squash match. What more do you want me to say? It is now time for our main event, The New Day versus The Bar. And in the qualifying round, the winner goes to SummerSlam to face the Bludgeon Brothers for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And my goodness, what a nail-biting match this was. This was good stuff. I really enjoyed everything. I don't think I'm doing justice by telling you. Again, I would say you go watch this match. Go seek it out and find it and go and watch this match. Probably one of the best on TV matches I've seen so far this year. But it did end in a New Day victory when Sheamus is hit with the big ending and the honor roll, that whole thing that Kofi and Big E do. I'm a little disappointed just because I really wanted Sheamus and Cesaro to win because you know what? I think the New Day have been champions quite a bit throughout both Raw and SmackDown. Maybe this is leading to a feud with Sanity in which Sanity actually win. So we'll see about that. But that's how SmackDown Live ends. Overall, I would say that this week I enjoyed Raw a little bit more than SmackDown, which is pretty good. I'm actually excited about that now that Raw is kind of getting their footing back, I guess. But then again, I said this a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. At least once a month I say this. Let's talk about some highlights. As far as Raw is concerned, I did like Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin because that's a match that I've been wanting to see for a while. Bobby Lashley and Elias. I like that segment, but you know, it still doesn't really make me care too much about Bobby Lashley as far as I'm concerned. I didn't really care for this match, but Rezar and Titus O'Neil, I'm just glad that Rezar won. Paul Heyman's interview with Renee Young, that was good stuff. And I did like Dolph and Drew versus Seth Rollins. That was a great match. As far as SmackDown is concerned, I guess, you know, even though Randy Orton's promo was like pretty much the same, I thought it was okay. I did like the match between Charlotte and Becky versus the IICONICS. That was a good match. Even R-Truth and Nakamura, that was a pretty decent match, and can't believe I'm saying that. The main event with the New Day and The Bar, fantastic stuff, and AJ Styles' promo as well, so that was really good. So those are my thoughts on Raw and SmackDown for this week. Let me know what you guys thought about both shows in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, and tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Sid signing off. You guys take care. Bye-bye.